Dvaita Gada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Jaya Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajikacharya Shtotra Sat. His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahaganda Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So it's been a long day yesterday for all of you, and today also will be a long day ahead. But still, so many of you have come this morning, even from long distances. Yesterday, in the morning, we were speaking about Hanuman, and specifically his birth and his childhood activities, how he became so powerful, and also how he forgot about his power. And this information was revealed by Agastya Rishi to Lord Ram after. Is the kirtan going somewhere? Okay. When Ram inquired about something that was puzzling him, how is it that Hanuman did not help Sugriva regain his kingdom and his wife? How is that possible? Because Ram had seen his valor, Hanuman's valor and prowess in the battlefield. And he knew that if at all Hanuman had not helped Sugriva defeat Vali, it would only be because Hanuman had forgotten about it. Otherwise, there is no other explanation of why Hanuman did not help Sugriva despite being completely capable of defeating Vali. And then Agastya Rishi narrates the whole history of the birth of Hanuman, and also about how he got so many benedictions. And then because of his childhood playfulness and mischief, the sages cursed him that he would forget his power. And only when he was reminded of his power at a suitable time in the future, then he would become aware once again. Because he was unaware of his power, Hanuman was not able to help Sugriva. He felt himself not capable of helping Sugriva defeat Vali. And also it so happened that from his childhood, when he got the benediction from Surya, that he would become very well versed in the scriptures and he would become an eloquent speaker, he became more absorbed in study of the scripture. He became very scholarly. So he was not so much inclined towards chivalrous activities. Rather, he was more inclined towards the pursuit of knowledge. So in any case, time passed on and everything remained peaceful. Then Lord Ram came, and Lord Ram engaged Sugriva and the other monkeys in his task. Today, to start with, I just want to talk about Hanuman in the Mahabharata. Now, Hanuman's pastimes appear in the Ramayana, but does Hanuman have a role to play in the Mahabharata? Does anyone know of any connection? Excellent. During the war of Kurukshetra in the Mahabharata, Hanuman was present on the flag of Arjuna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, this is mentioned. And one of Arjuna's names in this connection is, anyone knows? No, no. With regard to the with regard to Hanuman being Kapi Dhwaja. Kapi means a monkey and Dhwaja means the flag. So one of the names of Arjuna is Kapi Dhwaja, which means that he is the one on whose flag is Hanuman. So there was a picture of Hanuman on his flag. You see, when warriors went out into the battlefield on their chariots, each had a certain flag. And the flag represented something. They indicated who was in that chariot. So it was a special symbol. And when warriors were fighting with each other, one of the aims of the opposing charioteer was to cut down the flag, because that meant something. You know, you cut down the other person's flag. So Arjuna's flag had Hanuman. So therefore he is called Kapidhwaja. Anything else? How did Hanuman come there? Yes. Excellent, excellent. Wonderful. So there is a nice episode in the Mahabharata, and that involves Bhima. Bhima's interaction with Hanuman. When the Pandavas, along with Draupadi and Mother Kunti, were out in exile, at one time, when they were living in the Kamyaka forest, which is Kamyavan in Braj. You know, Braj has many forests. So one of the forests, Vanas, is Kamyavan. In those days, it was Kamyaka. So at that time, Arjuna had left to acquire some celestial weapons, because the Pandavas knew that the time would come after their period of exile was over, that they would have to go back and fight for their kingdom, which was rightly theirs, but which had been unjustly usurped by Duryodhana. They also knew in their minds that despite all efforts at making peace with Duryodhana and arriving at a mutually satisfactory or amicable solution to the problem, that someone as stubborn as Duryodhana would not allow any peaceful solution. So they knew it was inevitable that the battle would be fought. And on the opposing side would be Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, such mighty warriors. So they needed a lot of weapons. So Arjuna went to Indra to acquire those weapons, celestial weapons. In the meanwhile, the other Pandavas, the brothers and Draupadi, they were feeling great separation from Arjuna, and they could not stay on in Kamyaka. So they decided to wander around, and they went to the Himalayas even. As they were wandering and wandering, hoping to divert their minds from the separation they were feeling from Arjuna, they came to a place called Narayan Ashram. This ashram, this place was very beautiful, and as they were sitting and talking, suddenly the breeze brought in some flower, and the flower came rolling towards Draupadi. And she saw this flower. It was extremely beautiful and colorful, and it was very, very fragrant. Draupadi was struck with wonder, and she was very attracted to this flower. She said, "What a beautiful and fragrant flower this is." So she told Bhima, "If only I could have some flowers like this, then I could present it to Yudhishthir Maharaj." And she was captivated by the flower. So she requested Bhima to go and get this flower from wherever it was in the forest. So Bhima proceeded on foot without caring for any wild animals. The wild animals would be afraid of Bhima, not the other way around. So whether it was elephants or lions, nothing posed any danger to Bhima. He was so powerful. He had the strength of 1,000 elephants. So as he ventured into the forest, very intent on finding the flower. He knocked down trees, anything that came in his path, he just contemptuously knocked them all down and went ahead. And on the path, suddenly he came upon an obstruction. And that obstruction was an old monkey that was lying down on the road. And Bhima was astonished to find this monkey blocking the path. So he said, "Hey monkey, move out of the way." And the monkey didn't reply. So Bhima said, "Don't you know who I am? I am the Kshatriya in the dynasty of the Kurus, and I am the son of Queen Kunti. So move out of the way because I have to go ahead to do some very important work." So the monkey, who was lying on the ground, lazily just opened one eye and said, "Who are you? What do you want?" He said, "I am the son of Kunti, the Kshatriya warrior from the Kuru clan. Please move out of the way." He said, "I am too ill-disposed. I am very ill. I am not in a position to move. I don't have any strength. And by the way, if you really want to move, just jump over me. I don't have the strength to move." So Bhima said, "It is our etiquette. We do not cross over anybody's body." This is an important point that Bhima is saying. We have to be very careful. Sometimes we notice that even in a temple, in a crowded temple, especially in a big temple where there are many, many people, if someone is offering obeisances, we see sometimes other people crossing over their bodies to move over. But that's something we should never do. Not only should we not cross over the body of a devotee, we should not even cross over the body of anybody, of any living entity. Why is that? Anyone? Because the Lord is there in everybody's heart. So, it is an offense to the Lord to cross over somebody's body. You see, every body is like a temple because the Lord is within. A temple is a place where the Lord resides. So the Lord resides in our heart. So our body is like a temple. So therefore we must also use this temple of the body for the Lord's service. A temple is a place not only where the Lord resides, but where the devotees come to serve the Lord. So the temple is meant only for serving the Lord, not for anything else. So similarly, our body should also be meant for serving the Lord, not for anything else, because it is the temple of the Lord. And therefore we don't jump over anybody's body. We are very careful. Of course, when we walk on the street, we cross over so many ants and insects unknowingly. But at least knowingly, we should not cross over the bodies of different entities. So Bhima was very well acquainted with this etiquette, because everybody in those days were very cultured. They understood Vedic etiquette. So Bhima replied, "I can't do that. Although I have the power, what to speak of crossing over your body? I could jump over this whole mountain that is in front of us and go to the other side, just like my brother Hanuman." So the monkey then again opened his eyes a little bit lazily, one eye. "Who's that? Hanuman. Who is that? Can you tell me something about him?" "Hanuman is my brother. He is a son of the wind of Vayudev, the wind god. And it is he who jumped over the ocean and created havoc in Lanka. And he was the one who was the valiant soldier in the army of Lord Ram. And he was one of the main instruments of Ram to defeat Ravana and bring Sita Devi back to Lord Ram." And Bhima began to glorify Hanuman. And then Hanuman said, "Okay, that's fine. So in any case, since you're not inclined to jump over me as well, since I don't have the strength to move, I am old and sick, so you may have to just move my tail aside. And then you can get a free path to go." So Bhima was getting more and more angry because this monkey was not cooperating. So he grabbed the tail and he tried to move it aside. He thought he would just flick it with his fingers and just move it aside, but the tail would not budge. So he was surprised. So he grabbed the tail this time and tried to move it with all his might. And try hard as he may, Bhima, with the strength of 1,000 elephants, or 10,000, I don't remember how much it was, that is from the time when Duryodhana tried to kill him as a child. And then he went into the water, and the poisonous serpents of Vasuki, they stung him, and the poison actually turned into such enormous power for Bhima that he had the strength of many, many elephants. So the Bhima, who was so powerful, was not able to budge the tail even by a fraction of an inch. And then he started straining himself. He was pulling and pushing, and he started perspiring, and every muscle in his body was strained. He was exerting all his might to move that tail, and he could not budge it, even by 1 millimeter. And after he was completely exhausted trying to pull the tail and failing in the task, then he realized something is amiss here. This is not an ordinary monkey. So he told Hanuman, oh, I revealed it. So he told the monkey, so please tell us, who are you? How have you become so powerful? Surely you're not just a monkey. Are you a resident of the higher planets, a Siddha, a Charana, or a Gandharva, or who are you? Then Hanuman revealed his identity. He said, I am Hanuman, your older brother, and I am here waiting for you. I stopped you from going because the territory that is beyond this is not meant for humans, and any human who dares to go in will be definitely killed. It is a place for the yakshas and the rakshasas and so on, and humans have no access there. But if you want this flower that you are searching for, the name of that flower was a Saugandhika flower. So there it is yonder in that stream there, you will find this flower. And Bhima was so happy to meet Hanuman, he offered his respects to his older brother, and he said, I want to see that form in which you jumped over the sea to reach Lanka. And Hanuman obliged. Of course, he could not assume this exact same form in which he had jumped over the sea, because that was Treta Yuga. And now this was the end of Dwapar Yuga. And as you know, everything declines from the beginning of Satya Yuga to the end of Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Whether it is physical size, strength, intelligence, memory, virtue, dharma, all these qualities, they diminish as time goes on. So people in Satya Yuga were huge. They were giants. Even people in Dwapar Yuga were giants compared to us. But in Satya Yuga, they were really big. So in Treta Yuga, even Hanuman's ordinary form or anybody's ordinary form was quite big. And here Hanuman assumed a gigantic form even compared to Treta Yuga. So it was so huge that this form could possibly not be demonstrated in the end of Dwapar Yuga. Because in Dwapar Yuga also, compared to our forms of Kali Yuga, the forms were very large. So Bhima, Arjuna, Yudhishthira were very tall, very huge. So Hanuman said, because this is Dwapar, and in Treta I expanded myself to such proportions that it is not possible to do, but still I will show you something. So he expanded himself to a gigantic form. And Bhima began to see with great awe and veneration. And he just could do nothing but stand there folding his hands in respect. And then Hanuman said, "My dear Bhima, please tell me, what benediction do you want from me?" And Bhima said, "I have had your darshan. What more can I want? I don't need anything else. Now, with your darshan, we will get the power that is required for us to emerge victorious in the battle, that we will have to fight with our evil cousins." So Hanuman would have been prepared to just come and destroy the Kauravas single-handed. But then that was not the time, because his time was Treta Yuga. And now it was the end of Dwapar, and his Lord, Lord Ram, who had come as Lord Krishna now, and he had his own purposes to fulfill. He wanted to glorify his devotees, the Pandavas. So therefore Hanuman coming would have hogged the limelight in the show, and the purpose in this yuga was not Hanuman, it was Arjuna and Krishna. As it was Ram and Hanuman in Treta, in Dwapar it is Krishna and Arjuna. So it was not appropriate for Hanuman to have come and decimated the Kaurava army. But he blessed Bhima and said, "Don't worry, I will come and reside on the flag of Arjuna. And whenever Bhima, you let out a war cry," because Kshatriyas in the battlefield, they always let out these war cries. When you're in that mood of fighting and shooting arrows or bullets and killing, then you roar. So Hanuman told Bhima that when you roar on the battlefield, I will also roar, because I will be present on the flag of Arjuna. And my roar will mingle with your roar, and it will shatter the hearts of your enemies. So in this way, Hanuman blessed Bhima, and then Bhima came back with the Saugandhika flower, and other pastimes happened. So anyway, here is an interesting correlation between the Mahabharata and the Ramayana that happened here, that is narrated in the Mahabharata. So anyway, returning to our previous, yesterday's discussion on Hanuman's childhood and getting the power. When Ram and Lakshman were wandering in the forest searching for Sita, they came across a demon called Kabandha. Now this Kabandha demon was very horrendous to look at. Very, very strange. He had a huge body, but no head and no legs, no neck. Just a torso with long arms. And he had a huge mouth in his belly, and he had eyes in the region of his chest. So something very grotesque, something you can't even imagine thinking of. Such an ugly body, yes? So when Ram and Lakshman went into the forest, Kabandha, who was very powerful, reached out his arms and grabbed Ram and Lakshman and brought them close to his body. And Ram and Lakshman felt themselves to be completely helpless. They were immobile. They were immobilized by the power of this demon, Kabandha. And when they were speaking, Ram and Lakshman were speaking, thinking, "Oh, this is our end." And Ram said, No, it is not our end. Let us cut off the arms of this demon. And in that time, they happened to mention the name, and Kabandha was just about to put them in his mouth when he said, "Are you Ram and Lakshman?" They said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, after they cut off his arm, that is when they introduced themselves." So Kabandha said, I committed a great offense, and I was blessed by the sages that despite the curse because of which I have this body, I would be blessed when Ram and Lakshman came here into the forest. And when they touched me, when they cut off my arms and they cremated me, then I would assume again my original body of the heavenly planets. So, you cremate me and I will tell you about Sita and how you can obtain Sita. So after he was cremated, he assumed his heavenly body, and then he told them, "O Ram and Lakshman, please go ahead here and go towards Kishkindha, southwards. There, at Rishyamukha mountain, you will meet Sugriva. Sugriva has many valiant assistants, a few. Sugriva has been driven away from his kingdom, and his wife has been kidnapped by his older brother Vali. So make a pact of friendship with Sugriva. You help Sugriva regain his wife and his kingdom, and Sugriva then with the monkey army will help you to find Sita. So please go ahead, and before you reach Kishkindha, you will come to Pampa Sarovar, a very beautiful lake, where you will meet the ascetic lady Shabari, who is your great devotee, and she has been waiting for a long time for you to come. And when she has your darshan and she serves you, then she will depart for the higher planets." So then Ram and Lakshman went towards Kishkindha. After meeting Shabari, they came near Rishyamukha mountain, and Sugriva from a distance, he saw these two very strong looking hermits coming in. It seemed like a contradiction, because hermits are generally very skinny, and they don't look like powerful kshatriyas, and certainly they don't bear arms like bows and arrows and so on. By their bodily build, he could understand that these were kshatriyas, and by their appearance, and because they were bearing weapons. So Sugriva, as it is, was very terrified of the prowess of Vali. So he sent his assistant Hanuman. Said, "Go and find out who these two persons are. Do they mean well for me, or do they mean ill for me? And notice their facial expressions. Glorify me. Tell them you are my friend, and see how they react. If the reaction is favorable, then you will know that they are my well-wishers. If not, you will know they are inimical to me. Come back and report to me as soon as you can." So Hanuman assumed the form of a Brahmana, and he came in front of Ram and Lakshman. This was the first time that Hanuman met Ram and Lakshman in the Valmiki Ramayana. You see, Hanuman is eternally the servant of Lord Ram. He resides in the spiritual world in Ayodhya and eternally serves Lord Ram over there. However, when the Lord appears into this world, he doesn't come alone. He comes with his associates from the spiritual world. And sometimes some of his devotees, who have become devotees over many lifetimes and who become eligible for getting the personal association of the Lord and participating in the Lord's pastimes on earth, they also get that chance. So Hanuman also appears in Ram Lila here, and there seems to be a time when he met Ram for the first time. And apparently they did not recognize each other as Lord and Master and servant. Just like Sita and Ram. When Vishwamitra Muni took them into the forest, Ram and Lakshman, to the ashram to destroy the Rakshasas, the demons, Dashrath Maharaj, of course, was not happy with it. He wanted to go himself. He didn't want to risk Ram and Lakshman. So at that time, Ram vanquished all the demons who were troubling the sages. And Vishwamitra Muni then took them to Mithila, where a Swayamvara ceremony was being carried out. And Ram was successful in breaking the bow of Lord Shiva. And then eventually he married Sita. And Lakshman married Sita's sister, whose name was Urmila. So it appears that Sita met Ram for the first time here. Now, was it the first time? In this manifest Leela, Prakat Leela, yes. When their lordships descend onto the earth planet to perform pastimes, then it appears that they meet for the first time somewhere, sometime. But actually, Sita Devi is the consort of Lord Ram eternally in the spiritual world. It is only when they appear on the earth to do their pastimes that it appears that they meet sometime for the first time. And then they are unaware that they are eternal, they are an eternal pair. So similarly with Hanuman. Hanuman is the eternal servant of Lord Ram. So it is just the nature of the pastime that they met for the first time, and Hanuman did not know who is Ram, and Ram did not know who is Hanuman. But when Hanuman started speaking, Ram was extremely impressed, because Hanuman was speaking in such a sweet way and in such with such a perfect choice of words. His intonations, his modulation of the voice, his facial expressions, and his construction of sentences, and the subject that he was speaking, everything was just so impressive that after Hanuman had finished his speech and introduced himself as the messenger of Sugriva, Ram spoke to Lakshman and said, "This is not an ordinary person. One can understand that he is very well acquainted with the laws of grammar and metaphor and figures of speech. He knows the Vedas, and he's an extremely great scholar. And he's extremely cultured because of the way he speaks and the way he's behaving. And look at his gestures as he speaks. Look at his facial expression as he speaks. So Lakshman, you please discuss with Hanuman and talk about Sugriva." So Lord Ram at the very first meeting became very impressed with Hanuman. And finally, there was mutual trust that developed. Hanuman understood that Ram and Lakshman had come for a very favorable purpose. And Ram and Lakshman also began to trust Hanuman. Then Hanuman carried them on his shoulder and took them to Sugriva on Rishyamukha mountain. And there a pact of friendship was struck. So anyway, you know the story that eventually Lord Ram killed Vali, and then he established Sugriva on the throne of Kishkinda. And the monsoon season had started. And Lord Ram said, "It's not the right time to go searching for Sita in the rainy season, so let us halt for 4 months. When the monsoon season is over, then Sugriva, you can send out your monkey soldiers everywhere." So the time passed, and after the monsoon season, Sugriva had kind of forgotten, because of his absorption in the royal pleasures of life, he forgot his duty to Ram, that he had promised Ram that he would help search for Sita. When he was reminded firmly by Lakshman, he came to his senses, and then with the direction of Ram, they organized search parties to go out in different directions. And one of the parties was led by Angad, and Hanuman was present in that party. And Sugriva said, "Actually, my dear Ram, I think of all the members in my army, the one who is most likely to find Sita is Hanuman. Because there is no match to anybody in terms of intelligence, strength, resourcefulness, ability, power of judgment, etc." So Sugriva began to glorify Hanuman, and Ram was impressed. So Ram said, "All right, since Sugriva is so confident about your prowess, O Hanuman, I think you will be the one to eventually find Sita, wherever she may be, in Ravana's kingdom. So here, take my ring. It has my name inscribed in the inner side of the ring. You please go to Sita, and when you meet her, give this ring and she will understand that you are my envoy. She will have faith and she will trust you. Because otherwise she will be very suspicious and not know whether you are genuinely my envoy or this is just a trick being played by Ravana. And indeed, when finally Hanuman came in front of Sita, Sita did have this doubt. She wondered whether this is a trick that Ravana is playing. But eventually, because Hanuman spoke so nicely in such a genuine way, and finally he gave the ring of Ram, Sri Ram, that finally Sita was convinced. So in any case, Hanuman was in the party of Sugriva, or I beg your pardon, of Angada. So Angad and his team, which included Jambavan and others, they went in different directions. And they went in so many forests and hills and so many places, and they could not find Sita. They could not find a trace of Ravana's kingdom. You know, in those days they did not have Google to find out where Lanka was, where Ravana's kingdom was. They didn't know. So they had to find out. So, and they were unsuccessful. The other search parties that had gone out to search for Sita came back unsuccessful. And the mood was one of despondence all over. And Sugriva's despair was growing, that the search parties are coming back one after the other, and each one is saying, we have been unsuccessful, we could not find Sita Devi. And when Angad's party was moving all over the place and they were not able to find Sita, they also began to despair. They became very morose. And they were sitting at one place. Lots of things happened in the meanwhile. Valmiki Muni has talked about many incidents that happened in the course of the search of Angad's party everywhere. But finally, they were just resting at one place outside a cave at the foot of a mountain. And Angad was saying, let us just stay here, and we will fast unto death. Because if we go back and give the news to Sugriva that we have been unsuccessful, Sugriva will become so angry that he will kill us. So better we stay here and fast unto death. And we have been unable to help Lord Ram fulfill his objective. So they were despairing in this way, sitting down, talking. At that time, Jatayu's elder brother, Sampati, had been living in a cave above in the mountain. And he overheard these monkeys talking about fasting to death. And he was very glad. He came out, some food. And when these monkeys fast to death, then I will have a lot of food to eat. So he became a little hopeful. And he came out and started speaking to himself like this. The monkeys heard that. And they said, oh my God, look at this huge bird. Anyway, might as well let this bird eat us. At least let death come quickly. We have to die anyway by fasting, but that will take some time. Let this bird, gigantic vulture, come and eat us. In any case, then Angad started saying, the whole fault is with Kaikeyi. She is the root. You know, when we are undergoing difficulty, we usually look for someone to blame, isn't it? It's very natural. Someone is the culprit for our problems. This is a very natural tendency for all of us in this world. So who is the root cause of my problems? It's all your fault. Yes? We find somebody to blame. So in this situation of desperation, they're not finding Sita, and here this giant bird comes along wanting to eat them, and then Sugriva's probable anger there. So Angad said, it's all Kaikeyi's fault. This lady Kaikeyi, is because of her that Ram was banished to the forest. It's because of him that Sita Devi was abducted. It's because of her that the great valiant Jatayu died. Such a hero's death in trying to save Sita. And he went on speaking. At that time, this vulture Sampati said, "What? Did you mention the name of Jatayu? Jatayu was my younger brother." And then he narrated the whole story of his own life and Jatayu's life. And then eventually he pointed out that Sita is in Lanka, and Lanka is in that direction. So if you jump over the sea, it is 100 yojanas. And you can jump over, and then you will find Sita there. And he had also got a benediction that the moment he would reveal the whereabouts of Sita to the servants of Ram, his wings, which had been cut off earlier by the rays of the sun, would grow back again. So Sampati's wings grew back and he flew off into the sky. Meanwhile, now there was an Ishtagoshti, a conference of the monkeys, as to how we are going to cross the sea to go to Lanka. And Angad made an announcement. "Okay, my dear valiant monkey soldiers, which of you can jump 100 yojanas across the sea?" And there was silence. Nobody said anything. Then Angad started asking the monkeys one by one, "How many yojanas can you jump?" Somebody said 20 yojanas, somebody 30, someone 40, someone 50. Then Mahinda said 60, Dvivida said 70, Sushena said maybe 80. Then Angad asked Jambavan, "How much can you jump?" Jambavan said, Jambavan is also from Ramayana. There's another link between the Ramayana and Mahabharata. You know Jambavan's link? Who was Jambavan in Krishna Lila? He was Jambavati's father. Jambavati was one queen of Krishna in Dwarka. So this is another link. So he was also present in Treta Yuga. So you see, now is the end of Dwapar Yuga. So how old was Jambavan at that time? So when Jambavan said, "Actually, when I was young, I was so powerful, I could circle around Lord Vamanadev, Trivikram, when he came here. And as he expanded himself to step over the world, entire universe, I circumambulated him 21 times without stopping. And I could circulate Mount Meru, I could circumambulate Mount Meru also so many times without pausing. But now I am old. Very old, because from Treta Yuga right down to end of Dwapar Yuga. So now the most I can do with my utmost effort is 90 yojanas. I don't think I can do more than that." So Angada said, "Who else? I can jump 100. Angad said, "But that's it. I will not have the strength to jump back again. I can do 100, but then I'm stuck in Lanka. Then I won't be able to jump back. Then I won't be able to rescue Sita and bring her back, or even bring myself back with the information." And Jambavan said, "But my dear Angad, you are the leader of our group. The leader should stay here and someone else should go." So Angad said, "What does it matter, leader, or anyway we are destined to die here. Might as well somebody, if none of us is able to go, then Sugriva's anger will be so terrible, he will kill us all. So it doesn't matter who goes." So then Jambavan said, "I have the right person who will go." And there was suspense. Everybody looked at Jambavan. Who is he going to point to? Thus far, Hanuman had been silent. Now Jambavan looked at Hanuman and said, "Hanuman will go." And then Jambavan also narrated the history of Hanuman. He said there was an Apsara whose name was Punjikasthala, and she was cursed by a rishi because of some offense that she did. And she was born to the chief of the monkey gods, a chief of the monkeys whose name was Kunjara, and her name was Anjana. And eventually she bore Hanuman through the wind god. And this child was extremely powerful. And, and Jambavan, in brief, narrated the same story of baby Hanuman jumping to the sun thinking it was a fruit, and how Indra's Vajra thunderbolt weapon struck him and he fell down and cracked his chin, and eventually Vayu withdrew all the air. So the whole story was narrated by Jambavan. And then he said, but now the time has come that Hanuman has to be reminded of his prowess. So Hanuman, you are very powerful, unlimitedly powerful. You have got the benedictions of all the demigods. So rise, shine, and jump across the sea and do the work of Lord Ram. So Hanuman remembered, oh, I am so powerful. Yes. So it's something like us, we have forgotten we are spiritual beings. We are meant to be in the spiritual world. And someone needs to come and tell us, like Prabhupada came to the whole world and said, look, you are servants of Krishna. You are not meant to rot here in the material world in the cycle of birth and death. You are not meant to have this material body. You have to go back to the spiritual world. So then we realize, oh, I'm a servant of Krishna, not meant to be here, okay. So anyway, Hanuman then began to expand himself. And Hanuman then began to boast of his prowess. I am so strong. I have so much prowess that I can jump and circumambulate Meru mountain hundreds of times. And I can do this and I can do that. And Hanuman started speaking, and all the monkeys were in great ecstasy to hear Hanuman boasting like that. Because Hanuman was very innocent and pure. So when there's innocent boasting, is different from egoistic boasting. And also, Hanuman was boasting about something that was true. Generally when we boast about something that is false. Yes? But Hanuman's strength was genuine. And he said, I can do it. So then all the monkey soldiers, their spirits were lifted. They became very happy. They said, now we will live. So Hanuman said, I will go to the top of Mount Mahindra and I will jump from there. So Hanuman immediately jumped up to Mount Mahindra. And then he crouched. And he crouched there, mentally composing himself for that great leap. Just like an Olympic athlete, a high jump or long jump or something, or before a race, they will stand, they'll pause and mentally compose themselves to sprint or to jump. Yes? So Hanuman also crouched and composed his mind to jump. And as he was crouching and he was exerting pressure on the ground, and he had made his body gigantic. It was huge body. It was almost touching the clouds. And because of the pressure he was exerting, even as he was crouching, the mountain began to melt and fragment into bits. And the rocks started splintering, and the groundwater started oozing out in springs and all sorts of fountains and everything. And all the snakes started fleeing in panic. And on the mountain elsewhere, the many sages and others were staying, performing austerities. They also fled from there, wondering what was going on. And the pressure on the earth was so intense, it became unbearable. The whole mountain was crumbling. There was a roaring sound going on. It somewhat resembles our rockets when they take off. Have you seen these huge rockets? Whether it's an Apollo or where they finally the rocket went is another question. But whether it's a space shuttle or an Apollo rocket or something like that, they have these gigantic rockets that take off. And it takes several seconds. Once you start the engine of the rocket, it starts, pushing in the other direction with flames and so on. It takes a while before the rocket lifts up. So similarly, like that transcendental rocket, Hanuman was on that mountain exerting pressure. The sound was coming, the whole thing was shaking and trembling, and everything was roaring. And then Hanuman was getting ready, and then he just shot into the sky like a rocket. Like a stone that is shot from a catapult, or an arrow that is released from a bow. He just shot into the sky. Huge body. And he went with such speed, and that the force of his movement there, it uprooted all the trees on that mountain. And the trees also, with the suction, they followed Hanuman into the sky. And they fell into the sea at various points. And the trees had many flowers. So all those flowers were taken off from the trees, and they fell into the water of the ocean. And it looked like there was a canopy of flowers on the water. Looked a very beautiful sight. And because of the power of Hanuman's motion, there were huge waves that came up as high as mountains. And Hanuman dashed them down with his chest. And the clouds, he pierced the clouds even. The clouds got disturbed, and sometimes he could be seen going through into the clouds and sometimes outside the clouds. And everywhere there was like a storm, like a hurricane-like situation. On Mount Mahendra, it was a total hurricane. The trees were destroyed, and the monkey soldiers and Jambavan were watching in sheer amazement, struck with wonder to see the prowess of Hanuman. And he flew through the sky, feeling great exuberance and enthusiasm and power. And as he flew in, several incidents happened on the flight. So if you want to know what those incidents were that happened in the flight, did Hanuman finally reach Lanka after jumping over the ocean? And if he did, also on the way in the flight across the sea, what interesting incidents happened? And what happened indeed if he reached Lanka, what happened after that? If you want to know that, you will have to come tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Because now it is 9:10, so we will stop here. Hare Krishna. Shri Hanuman Pavanasutta Hanuman ki jai. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for that wonderful description of Hanuman just taking off from the land. Anyway, that was so exciting. We are so excited to hear what will happen tomorrow. We never heard of this description of how Hanuman took off. We felt like we were there, near Mahendra Mountain. Thank you so much, Maharaj. It's wonderful. Everybody enjoyed today's description. So he says the good time, it passes so fast, that we don't realize. Today I thought it's just half 8, but it's 9 o'clock now. So yes, the Maharaj has been with us for the last few days, and tomorrow he'll be giving the final class on this Hanuman and Ram Lila. So please do come on time tomorrow, and then and just absorb these pastimes. Yes, Prabhuji? Yes, you can be. Yeah, Maharaj, we can have longer class, Maharaj, tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. So, yes, the next program is at Villa Sunday Feast class. We'll starting at 12:30. Maharaj will be speaking at 1 o'clock. The title is Stop Worrying, Start Living. It is a 2 series class. It will be the first class today and the next class tomorrow, starting at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So it's a wonderful topic. Please do come. There's a program in the evening at Warrington as well. So if anybody would like to come, take the address from us and give you the proper address and directions to you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.